Hello and welcome to another Cotton Incorporated podcast. My name is John Devine, Senior Economist. This podcast is the last in a series that discusses Chinese cotton policy and its relationship to global cotton prices. The objective of this podcast is to incorporate the context developed in the first 3 episodes to discuss how reforms to Chinese cotton policies could be expected to impact the world cotton market. This discussion is divided into 3 parts. The first part describes the replacement of the system of price guarantees enforced by reserves with one involving direct payments to growers. A second section discusses how mills are supplied and describes changes to auctions from reserves and uncertainty regarding import quotas. The final section combines all this information to build a price outlook for the 2014-2015 crop year. The system of guaranteed prices enforced by purchases from reserves has been the dominant feature of recent Chinese policy. It was just announced that this system will be eliminated and replaced by one involving a target price and direct subsidies. Under this new system, growers are still guaranteed a price, which is the target. When market prices fall below this target, growers are paid the difference between the market price and the target price. When market prices are higher, no payment will be made. From a consumption perspective, this is beneficial, since the new system involves a market price, implying that it will once again be possible for cotton to flow from fields to mills without having to go through the reserve system. The existence of a more direct market and a market price that can trade below the target level suggests mills may have access to cheaper cotton. Additional details are forthcoming, but the market price in the new system is to be based on an average of local prices reported by GINS. The initial target price has been set at 19,800 RMB per ton, or about 145 cents per pound. In the coming crop year, this new system is to be applied only on a trial basis to pilot locations. The initial geographic coverage for this system is unknown, but the only pilot area mentioned so far is Xinjiang province. Xinjiang is China's largest cotton-producing province. It is located in the northwest and is home to virtually all of China's large-scale cotton farms. The announced target price is about 3% below the value guaranteed under the old system. However, the new target price regime is thought to be a more direct subsidy to farmers, and it has been reported that growers in Xinjiang may receive more money under the new program. No announcements have been made regarding the implementation of the new system in regions outside of Xinjiang. The USDA has estimated that the price received in eastern growing regions may fall by 25% next crop year. As a result, a relatively strong reduction in cotton acreage is forecast outside of Xinjiang. While Xinjiang is very important for discussion of Chinese cotton production, the province has also become relevant to discussions of supply flowing from reserves to mills. Throughout the time period of the reserve system's existence, cotton supplies have been rotated, with older bales being replaced with new purchases. Over the past couple of crop years, there has been concern about the quality offered for auction as well as the timing of delivery, with some mills having to wait several months for their cotton to arrive. Recently, Chinese officials announced some revisions to the auction process that sells cotton from reserves to mills. These revisions included lowering of the base price from 18,000 RMB per ton, or about 132 cents per pound, to 17,250 RMB per ton, or about 126 cents per pound. Changes also included a new ratio system, which allows mills to make purchases of foreign cotton held in reserves. While the high price policies were in place over the past few years, the reserve system made purchases on the world market, and some of the cotton imported since 2011-2012 went into the reserve system. This foreign cotton held in reserves is generally perceived to be of better quality, and mills can gain access to this cotton at a 1-to-3 ratio, getting the right to buy 1 ton of foreign cotton for every 3 tons of Xinjiang-produced cotton purchased. Rumors of a separate ratio tying reserve purchases to freshly issued sliding scale quota were recently confirmed. As was the case with a similar program last year, this allows mills to average prices paid for cotton purchased from reserves with lower priced imports. As in recent crop years, the question of how the Chinese government will supply mills is critical for the global price outlook. With the elimination of the system that caused high proportions of the Chinese harvest to flow into reserves, it appears that a higher proportion of Chinese mill use will be supplied directly from the Chinese harvest in coming crop years. With cotton again flowing from field to gin to mill, and a huge volume of cotton held in reserves, it looks like import demand could fall sharply. Under that assumption, an important question is how low will Chinese imports go? To help answer that question, we can look at different ways cotton can be imported into China, as well as historic data. Due to WTO obligations, China has to allow at least 4.1 million bales into the country. Quality-related concerns could be expected to result in 1 or 2 million additional bales of sliding scale and processing trade quota. In combination, the WTO and quality-related imports suggest a lower bound for Chinese imports, around 6 million bales. This figure is roughly equal to the annual lows for Chinese imports since China joined the WTO in 2001. The USDA is forecasting China to import 8 million bales in 2014-2015. Their estimate is based on the assumption that China will take a gradual approach to drawing down the reserves and will import a volume between the 11 million bales expected in the current crop year and the lower bound of about 6 million bales. Nonetheless, considerable uncertainty remains regarding how much cotton China might import, not only in 2014-2015, but for years into the future. Whatever the eventual volumes are, it can be expected to have an impact on the world cotton market. As we learned in the third podcast of this series, that impact arises from a relationship between Chinese imports and ending stocks in exporting countries. Of course, the amount of stocks held outside of China is also a function of global production and consumption. In the next few charts, we can take a look at early USDA forecasts for the 2014-2015 harvest and mill use. Expectations are for world cotton production to be essentially flat at 117 million bales. One of the biggest country-level changes is forecast for China, where the elimination of the guaranteed price system is expected to lead to lower cotton acreage. At the world level, the decrease in Chinese production is expected to be offset by a larger U.S. crop, which is forecast to result from an increase in U.S. planted acres. Global mill use is expected to increase for a third consecutive crop year, due to stronger rates of economic growth around the world, particularly in developed countries, which are major consumers of cotton apparel and home goods. Lower cotton prices are also expected to contribute to demand growth. When examined side by side, we see that world cotton production is expected to exceed world mill use for the fifth consecutive crop year. When more cotton is grown than is consumed, global ending stocks increase. And for 2014-2015, global stocks are expected to rise above 100 million bales for the first time. As we have been discussing throughout this series of podcasts, where stocks are located is very important for the global price outlook. For the first time since China's high price policies were put into place, stocks are expected to increase outside of China. This increase in supply available to the market, notably in exporting countries like the U.S., can be expected to put downward pressure on prices around the world. It is possible to already see expectations of lower prices in the coming crop year in futures markets. New York futures for delivery after the 2014-2015 harvest have been trading 10 to 12 cents per pound lower than futures for delivery in 2013-2014. These expectations are built on the assumption of the accumulation of stocks outside of China. A threat to this outlook from the demand side stems from uncertainty regarding Chinese import volumes. If Chinese imports end up being higher than currently forecast, the decline in prices could be smaller. Similarly, lower levels of Chinese imports could mean even lower cotton prices. From the supply side, An unknown is the weather. In the U.S., the Southwest continues to suffer from drought, and this could affect the size of the U.S. crop. A U.S. crop below current expectations could mean diminished downward pressure on prices. In contrast, if additional rainfall is received, a larger crop could push prices even lower. That concludes our series of podcasts on Chinese cotton policy and the global cotton market. As additional information is made available from the Chinese government, the content of this podcast will be updated. If you're interested in more information, you can email me at the address shown here. Thank you for your interest.